Hey guys, you missed me? Missed you too. Alright, this is DV's open chamber. Actually, this is Tim's head, but I took DV's design and I took it to the next level. Wow, what a nightmare. Let's see how we did, alright? The liquid looks damn good. Damn good. You can see a little spotty on the chamber all the way around. Let's take a look at the bore. Okay, bore looks good. I like the way it's spread out. The valve has got a pretty wide pattern on it. Remember, that's just the stock 178 cut for DV special angle, which I'm not really thrilled with. I let him know. And the exhaust is the same deal. Okay, so what did I change? Because last time you guys saw these, I think they broke about 220. And then I put the head on it, I put the intake on it with the carb, and it was like 160. I may not have those numbers exactly right. You'd have to go back and check that video. But I tried to get it up from that point. Now, I also decided to do more work on the exhaust. Let's change the lighting. Okay, the exhaust actually got a little bit bigger port. And I'll give you my logic on that. If I am completely choked with the intake, and I can only do what I can do with the intake, and I think I'm there, maybe it's worth a few horsepower if it's got a little bit bigger exhaust port and flows a little better. I may not be right with that, but that's what I decided to do. This exhaust port works really well for a 1.5 valve. Really well. Alright, it was nice because I had DV's chunk, and I had my experience from the Nightmare Chinese Magnum head, and the Aussie Magnum head, and the stock Magnum head, where I was able to apply some of the design characteristics of the Magnum to these older heads, and they seem to have liked it. It may not be a complete win as far as flow, but my air speeds are really good at this point. I think they're going to work out really, really well. Alright guys, take a look down its throat. She looks good. We got a nice angle there. The new camera is a little weird as far as focus, but I'm hoping it's better than the old one that used to catch me on the pause button constantly. Alright, that very corner of that bowl looks like it's got a dent, but it's not. I assure you, it's the way the Daikin is laying there. Okay. I'll give you a glimpse of the short side. Remember, it's a different design than the Magnums. You can't just widen the floor as much as you'd like to. But it is wider than last time you've seen it. And the speeds are much better. Now this doesn't look that much different than last time you guys have seen it, but it has had quite a bit of work to it. Now this is actually the other head, so this is not the port I've been doing all the testing on. This is the other head. This was, we used to be doing number 1, so this is number 8. Okay. Okay, the exhaust is different than the last time you've seen it. The opening is actually a touch larger, and I did that on purpose. DV's port was that big. I didn't realize that when I was doing my first head. So I brought this size out to what DV did, and then I did some fancy math calculations to see how much the area is on this, which isn't really that hard. I mean, you measure up to about here and you make this a rectangle, right? And then the other part of it, you make it a rectangle, divide it in 2, so you can get this little square in the corner. And this one here is almost a 45-degree angle, so that's 1/2 of that value. And then I do the square inches, and then I can get how many CFM they should flow. Well, between that shape and the rectangular shape, they were within 2 CFM, so I'm good with that. Now, these haven't been tested yet. Actually, these haven't even been completely finished yet. The only ones that are completely done are the 2 outside ones. And the only one that's been tested is this one with the plug. I think they'll flow pretty darn close. Okay, the short side is a little tough to do. There's not a lot to work with, so do what you can do. And then you're done with it. Okay, so let's go over this. I don't have the other sheet from last time I did. I think I called it the final. You should know me by now, right? Final is not always final. But what we wind up doing, I mean, DV says he's going to crank the lift up to 0.6. So we're 226. I do remember that it only maxed out at like 220 before. Now, I don't remember exactly what lift it was, but we're a little bit higher. And I'm sure we're probably a little bit better everywhere else. And we've got, as DV says, more than enough swirl to worry about. What I really like is our numbers here are much, much better. Take a look. Just like the Magnum, more airflow on the bottom. I thought that was interesting, right? A little bit less on top. Take a look at how close those roof speeds are. Take a look at how close the inner and outer short side radius speeds are. Yeah, it's only 226. But if DV gets, I don't know, 2.2 or 2.3 horse per cube, of course that's not taking into consideration being choked to death with that intake manifold, right? Let's take a look at the exhaust. The exhaust I know is better than it was. It's also a little bigger. So at our lifts that we're going to be running at, 177.6, you put a pipe on it, it's 195. If you take it higher, she breaks 200 with a 1 7/8 pipe. Not bad. This test here in the corner, that was the intake manifold, the original 2-barrel low-rise disaster. And I put that on, and that's the little B&D, I think it's B&D carburetor. And that's what we got out of it. Then I took that intake off, and I did a little bit more work to that runner because I thought maybe it would help. Let me take a look at these other flows. All right, a couple of CFM here and there, but this is also hotter because it's later in the day. Then for fun, I threw on the Venturi spacer, right? The Venturi spacer gives a decent pickup. And then, just because I can, I put the Victor Jr. on. The Victor Jr. flows 223 at 6. The Bear Head flows 226. Gives you an idea how important an intake manifold is. Now, the part that really surprises me about that is I didn't put the carb on. I didn't put clay around it, so I had the sharp edge. Remember, the Victor Jr. is cut for a 360 gasket, so we have a nasty overhang. And it still flowed that much better. Let's talk about our exhaust speeds. From side to side, not bad. From side to side in the middle, quite good. Not totally dead in the middle. A little fast on this side. In any case, I'm hoping that exhaust gives us a few extra horsepower. Now, I could ask Rob to do some work to the boosters on that little tiny carburetor, and we can see how much that gains. But I think we have a good idea where we're going to be at. I mean, the hardest one is going to be running the 2-barrel, no spacers, with the carb, and those iron exhaust manifolds. Now I have to redo the exhaust manifolds because I redid those exhaust ports a little bit bigger, right? So I have to give them a little more area. I didn't get to flow them, but that manifold, as bad as it looks, really, I don't remember it killing our exhaust port. You guys can correct me in the comments. And I plan on getting a bunch of videos out this week. I actually took some time off because I'm completely fried from work and more work and more work. And I decided I got to catch up on a couple things around here. So hopefully can put out some new videos. I got Stan Weiss's new program. He gave me the key to get into it and actually get it loaded, and we could do some work on that. And I forgot, the last video I did on the performance trends simulation, I did that not through the head, but through the intake manifold, through the carb, and through the head. So I wonder how far that throws it off. I think I'll do the IOP with the same numbers, and we'll take a look at it. In any case, I think that'll still work out really well. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.